Hey, all right. So, hey guys, we're working on our deliverable to brainstorming for our game Warrior Script. For this part, we actually need to move beyond just the idea and start structuring everything properly into classes and logic. So, before we jump into the technical stuff, let's just walk through the concept one more time so we are all thinking in the same direction.
Yeah, sure. So the main idea is that the player controls a rocket that is trapped inside a black hole, and the environment is constantly pulling it inwards. So it's not like it has a normal movement. The player is always resisting a force that is pulling it inward. On top of that, there are obstacles like meteoroids, asteroids, space debris, everything else moving around. So the player has to avoid them while trying to escape. So this is the basic premise of the game.
Yeah, and we also added that the speed depends on how fast the player clicks. So basically, the more frequently the player clicks, the faster the rocket moves. But the interesting part is that this also makes the game harder because higher speed means less control. So the player has to balance both.
Okay, so now let's get into the classes. We need to figure out what components are actually required to build the system in a clean way. Like, what are the main objects in our game and how do we represent them?
I think we should start with something like a game engine class, at the base level, because that can act as the central controller of the game. It can handle things like updating all objects every frame, checking for collisions, and maintaining the overall state, game state, or game flow. So basically, it connects everything instead of having things run independently. So this ensures the flow and smooth experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then obviously we need a rocket class since that's the player. That class will store things like position, current speed, and maybe the direction too. Yeah, direction also, and also handle how the rocket moves based on the input from the mouse.
But and for obstacles, instead of directly creating different obstacle types, we can first create a base class called obstacle. That way, we're not jumping into specific immediately, but building a general structure first.
Yeah, I must obey because that makes the design cleaner because all obstacles will share common properties like position, speed, and movement behavior, and etc. So instead of rewriting those again and again, which will be a huge headache, we define them once in the base class and reuse them whenever we want. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. And then from that base class, we can create something like a meteoroid class, which extends it. If later we want more types of debris, like satellites or anything else, we can just add more derived classes without changing the base structure.
Okay, nice. That actually makes it flexible. What about things like score and health too? Should they be part of game engine or separate?
I strongly think it's better to keep them as separate classes like score and health. This way, each class has a clear responsibility, and it also makes system easier to maintain or update later. And th it's just simply this all avoids any unnecessary confusion or anything. So yeah.
Yes, I agree with Yashwant. Like health can just start at 100 and then decrease whenever collision happens. And the score class can track how well the player is doing, maybe based on the survival time or the distance.
Okay, for the report, we need to clearly explain inheritance now, not just use it. So we should be able to justify why we choose it here instead of just saying we used it.
So yeah, basically we're using inheritance because of the is a relationship. A meteoroid or let's say an asteroid or anything is a type of obstacle. So it makes sense for it to inherit from the obstacle class. Let's say a satellite. A satellite is a type of obstacle. So it makes sense for it to inherit from the obstacle class. That way it automatically gets the all common attributes like position and speed or whatever we decide in the future updates to have, like the obstacle to have. Uh, Automatically every obstacle gets the common attributes that we set. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with it. And that also means if we change something in that obstacle class later, it automatically applies to the class, to its derived class. So it saves effort and keeps everything consistent and easier to update in future.
And also, it makes the design easier to understand because we're grouping similar objects now under one structure instead of treating everything separately. So I think it makes us very easy.
So guys, but what about association? That's also one of the required concepts in our class. I think the game engine is associated with all other classes because it interacts with them during the gameplay. So yeah, what do you think?
Actually, like it does not inherit from them, but it still uses them. It creates and manages objects like rocket score, health, and obstacles, and keeps us updating them.
Yes, you're right. So basically, it acts like the central system that connects everything. I think I mean to ask like it decides what happened during each frame, like moving objects, checking collisions, and updating values.
Okay, I get it. Like for example, when a collision happens between the rocket and an obstacle, let's say an asteroid, the game engine detects it and then updates the health class by reducing player's health. So it acts as central coordinator. Okay.
Okay, I think we explained most of the parts clearly. And can we explain over the speed system again? So we make sure we explain everything properly as it's the main part of our game.
So yeah, okay, let's go through it. So the speed is based on how frequently the player clicks. If the player clicks faster, the rocket accelerates more and the rocket speed increases. But the important part is that this higher speed makes it harder to control direction because there's also other forces that are acting on the rocket and there's other stuff going on. So this increases the difficulty. So this is the main USP of the game.
Yeah, it's just a simple spell game increases. It actually affects gameplay because the faster you go, the more careful you have to be with movement and avoiding obstacles.
And the direction changes depending on whether the player clicks left or right, as it this is also a usp, so the player is constantly adjusting movement using both the buttons in the mouse.
Yeah, okay. So in the rocket class, we can implement methods like move left or move right for direction control. And also, I think we'll probably need something like update speed to adjust speed dynamically based on input because that's our main USP. So yeah.
And for collisions, every time the rocket hits an obstacle, the health should reduce gradually until it reaches zero.
So yeah. For the win condition, I personally think that the once rocket reaches a certain escape boundary or distance from the black hole that we set, we trigger the win. We declare that the user wins, and we can also track time taken. So the faster escapes can give better scores. So yeah, so that's my idea.
Yeah, so it's not just about surviving, but it's also about how efficiently the player escapes. This makes it more competitive and much fun to play.
And the loss condition is when the player's health reaches zero after too many collisions.
Yeah, yeah. So if the player keeps colliding and health drops completely, the game ends. So they need to balance speed and control properly. So to rank up higher in the leaderboards. So that, yeah, that's what the user should do.
Okay, I think we covered everything properly. Classes inheritance, association, and then the main game logic. This should be enough for our deliverable.
Um, okay. Yeah, now I think we can all take this and convert it into a UML design since we already know how everything is connected.
Yeah, I think we're good. We have a clear structure now. We can convert this into diagram and then move on to implementation. Good job, guys.
Yeah, yeah, I think we should make the. Yeah, I got it done. Thank you.
Yeah, bye guys.
Bye, guys. See you in class.